It started just after I returned from vacation. 2 weeks rafting in North Carolina without the wife and kids. It was a well-deserved break, and I thought I was in heaven. I didn't know I'd come back to this hell. I think it was still her that first night I came back, but I guess I came back pretty late and might not have noticed. Even though I had a great time on my trip, I was exhausted and I went to bed early. It was when I woke up late the next morning. Heather was calling me down for breakfast.
Honey, breakfast is
I
ready.
made my way downstairs and sat at the table with the kids. She was at the stove, picking up a stack of pancakes, and I just remember when she turned around and laid the pancakes down and bent forward to kiss me. I realized something was off about her. I backed away from her kiss. I couldn't put my finger on it, but I wasn't sure it was really Heather.
What's gotten into you?
She asked me, but I just shrugged. Guess I'm still tired. The kids didn't seem to notice anything was wrong, and I didn't want to scare them, and so I went along with it and ate breakfast. But I had a feeling that something was very, very wrong. I should have grabbed Archer and Lily right there and then and escaped. Maybe in the end it wouldn't have mattered, but it would have given us a chance. The way things played out, I'm not sure we ever really had a chance. I saw the kids off to school and went to work. I was working in the field installing a set of new cell repeaters that Monday, and I knew I would be able to knock off early enough to get back before Archer got home. I got to the job site and waited for our new guy to show up. They usually pair us senior field engineers with the new guys. We were putting in the latest equipment to bring high bandwidth cell service to the upstate area. I didn't recognize Juan when he showed up, and he was a little upset when I asked for his company ID. I apologized. Must have just been my time away on vacation, I told him. He said it was probably his new haircut. But something in the back of my mind told me that wasn't it. You know, he asked an awful lot of questions about the equipment we were there to install. I knew something wasn't right, but I still didn't know what it was. Looking back on it, I think they picked me because of my job. They want to find a way to control our communication systems. We managed to finish up a little early, and so I called into my boss about heading home at 3. Besides the usual crap about how I'm not on vacation anymore, he agreed. My work was finished there, and I was scheduled at a new site across the county the next day, so there was really no sense in coming back to the office. I almost called Heather to tell her I was coming home early, but something tickled the back of my mind telling me not to. I decided to pick the kids up from the bus stop. Archer's bus arrived first, and he jumped off and gave me a big high five. We stood around talking, waiting for Lily's bus to get there. He was telling me about something he learned in school, how the solar storm was bringing the Aurora Borealis so far south that we might be able to see it from home. I think I eased up a bit, chatting with my boy. But that's when Heather walked up. I didn't recognize her. It was like someone I'd never met was pretending to be my wife. She even tried to hug Archer, but I pulled him back. She cocked her head at me, and I could see there was something under the skin, like she was wearing a rubber mask. It wasn't just not my Heather. I wasn't sure it was even human. I would have still made it out of there if Lily's bus hadn't arrived, and she leapt out yelling, "Mommy!" and ran right in to give a hug to the imposter that was pretending to be my wife. What could I do? She was holding my baby girl. I had to follow her inside the house, but I kept a firm grip on Archer, who sensed something was wrong too. Once we got home, she turned and asked me about my day. Almost natural, almost like Heather. But then she asked me if the equipment I installed was that new high-frequency stuff that can shoot all the way out into space. That's not something Heather would ever ask me about. She couldn't care less about anything science or engineering related. Yeah, why do you ask?
Oh, I just heard some ladies talking about it. They said it will give us all cancer someday.
It's nothing to worry about. And I looked at her closely, but she avoided my eyes. I stuck close to the kids that evening, helping with homework and playing with them out back. I should have been packing our bags and getting out of there. When dinner time rolled around, I offered to order something. I didn't want to eat anything that thing made, but she just said she prepared our favorite tuna noodle supreme casserole, one of the few things Lily will eat. At dinner, she asked me again about work, something Heather never had much interest in.
You have another install tomorrow?
Yep, one more, I replied calmly.
I guess the whole state's gonna be zapped by that frequency, Sienna.
You seem pretty curious about it, Heather, I said, emphasizing her name. She turned away from me, couldn't meet my eyes, but I saw the skin on her face move like there was something crawling under there. Something alien was inside her. I stood up immediately and I let her have it. Where's Heather? Who are you? But the fake woman just said it was her. We fought all night, and I almost raised my hand against her or it, but in the end she relented and allowed me to sleep with the kids in my room, with the door firmly locked. I should have left the house. I shouldn't have stayed. But the kids were crying, and they didn't even seem to notice the difference in their mother. I started getting a headache and nauseous, and I knew she had poisoned me at dinner. The kids seemed a little bit sick, too. I barricaded the door that night and promised myself that we would pack and be out of there at first light. I planned on staying awake, but whatever she gave me, I was feeling so out of it, I drifted off and fell asleep. Unfortunately, when I woke up, the door was open and the kids were gone. She must have waited until I fell asleep and crawled inside somehow. I panicked. I ran downstairs. I was starting to feel really sick now and almost went to the hospital until I saw some strange woman packing bags with 2 children. At first, I thought it was Archer and Lily and went to stop her, but as the kids turned around and turned towards me, I realized they had taken my children too. It sounded like Archer, but I didn't recognize him at all. He was angry and telling me that I needed to apologize to his mother. I grabbed and shook that thing pretending to be my son and yelled at him, "What did you do with them?" He started fighting and telling me I should leave. I told that thing, "You're already packing. Good, get the hell out of here. I just want my family back." That's when the little girl pretending to be Lily started crying, and it sounded so much like Lily that I felt that same chill go down my spine. It literally made me puke. My headache was so bad I wasn't thinking straight, and I just grabbed that little girl, and I saw her skin was really some kind of rubber mask with worms moving under it. I was terrified, and my head hurt so much. I started shaking that little imposter girl. "Where are they? What have you done with Lily? What do you want from me?" The fake Archer started pulling me off it. I had to push him back, and that's when the thing pretending to be Heather hit me so hard I saw stars. They were unnaturally strong. I felt weak compared to the imposters. I knew they couldn't be human, and so I ran to the kitchen to grab a knife. And I was gonna kill them if they didn't give me my family back. So help me God, I was gonna kill those things before they could infect anyone else. But that's when the police barged in. The imposter must have called the police before I even woke up. The police yelled at me to drop the weapon, but I just pointed at the creatures pretending to be my family and said, "Look closely, they're not real." And I swear the evil thing impersonating Heather smiled, a smile showing too many teeth. I lunged for it with my knife, but the cops shot me in the back with a stun gun. I fell down, and the last thing I saw was the imposters of my children looking down at me, while worm-like creatures rippled under their skin. I don't know how much later, but I woke up here. My headache has gotten so bad it feels like my head is gonna burst. They strapped me to a bed in some kind of hospital. This must be what happened to my family. I know they're gonna swap me out too. I'd rather die than become one of those things, but I can't move my arms. All I can do is scream. Mrs. Fields, the prognosis isn't good, I'm afraid. He's tested positive for Naegleria fowleri.
I'm sorry, doctor, but I don't understand. What is that? What's happened to my husband?
It's an amoeba. It lives in warm, fresh water. He must have picked it up on his kayaking trip.
Rafting trip.
Yes. Anyhow, although incredibly rare, it's a single-celled organism that lives in warm water. And when the water gets splashed up your nose, it's able to make its way through the nervous system and into the brain.
It's in his brain?
I'm afraid due to the brain damage, he's lost the ability to recognize you or your children. He really doesn't know who you are, and we don't have many treatment options.
Can't you give him an antibiotic or something?
Hallucinations have started setting in, and with the damage that's been done, Mrs. Fields, we should probably talk about end-of-life care.